Let's learn to calculate streaks in SQL. So the idea of streaks is how many days in a row did you use a product, use an app, for example, Duolingo. So let's say we have our data. Here we have someone Dempsey, logs in the first, the second, has a gap, then logs in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. So he has a 2-day streak, some gap, as well as a 3-day streak. And then we have Pat, who logs in the 1st and the 8th, so 1-day streak, 1-day streak. And this is also known as an island and gap problem. So here you have an island of 2 days, then you have a gap, then you have an island of 3 days. So how do we actually calculate the streak in SQL? So let's start with a couple ideas. First, what's a streak? With streaks, the day, dates should increment by 1. So here is the first, and then the streak continues, so it moves on to the second. The date increments by 1. Second idea, row number also increments by 1. So row number, you don't even have to look at the data. You have row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then if you partition by user, for example, for Pat, you're going to have row number 1, then 2. Third idea, for perfect streaks, the difference between day and row number is constant. So again, row number, it always increments by 1. Again, with perfect streaks, you're logging in every single day. So you're going to have the first, the second, the third, the fourth. That should also increment by 1. So the difference between the row number and the date should be constant throughout. Again, this is for perfect streaks. But when a streak breaks, this difference changes. So we're going to use this idea to create something called, let's call it date group. So what does the code look like? So let's start with CTA. So we're going to have a table called date group. And we're going to select, let's pick up user, date, and then the important calculation. Let's use Brown. So let's create this difference. Here we go. So we're going to have date minus row number. And then we're going to use a window function because we have different users. We're going to partition by user. And we're going to order by date. And let's call this date group. Date group. And we're going to get this from our Duolingo login table. Hopefully I have enough space. And then with this table, let's say from this CTA, from this date group CTA, we're going to select user, date group, and then let's say we're calculating the length of a streak. So we can say count 1 as streak length. And then, let's see, other useful information might be like start of the streak, end of the streak. So min date at start. And then you can do max date as the end. Then we have a group by user and date group. So first and second. So what does this look like? We're going to have it's not going to be the actual table. But the idea of this is we're going to have this new variable called streak length. And then for these two, the first and the second, that's going to have a streak length of 2. 7, 8, 9th, that's going to have a streak length of 3. The first, so we got first. And again, we go back to the basis of idea is you're going to have this difference between date and row number that's going to be constant throughout. But then when you have a break, you're going to have a new difference between date and row number. Hence, it's going to create this new partition based on a new date group.